Hi, I'm Steve. I have an eidetic memory. Here's a perfect recollection of Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy, or GOTG to us real Star Trek fans, starts in the former future of 1988. Peter Quill's mom is dying of alopecia, which is weird because I didn't think not having hair was fatal, but I guess boys and girls really are different. Peter has a breakdown because dead mom, but does that thing kids do and immediately imprints on the first thing he sees, a spaceship, as his new mom. Fast forward to 2016 on Mogar! Oh, that's Morag. Lame. And Peter is now working as an exterminator. He betrays his client and tries to steal some ball that looks like some crap my mom would bring home from Pier 1 Imports, but he gets caught by Djimon Hounsou and has to book it. Later, on Peter's ship, he's playing around in the Bloodborne character creation screen when his new player character Blue Manchu becomes sentient, attains corporeal form with many of Peter's old avatars, and vows revenge on Peter for inflicting the horror of existence upon him.
Papa, I will never forgive you for this thing called life.
We are next introduced to Ronan the Accuser aboard his ship, the USS Bindystraw. Ronan gives a speech about how good a religious Kree he is, while the witches from Macbeth throw white cheddar Cheeto dust on him. Look, if you wore an outfit like this for days on end, you'd do anything it took to prevent chafing too, okay? Then makes his morning Xandarian smoothie, but it turns out this one was secret blueberry flavor, so he rightly pours it down the drain. Djimon Hounsou tells Ronan that Quill stole his Pier 1 limited edition wire ball, so he sends the hot lady from Star Trek to go retrieve it. Peter tries to return the space ball to Pier 1 even though he knows damn well he doesn't have a receipt, and when the manager says he can only get store credit, Peter gets all rowdy in the howdy and has to be escorted off the premises and runs into Gamora. Gamora steals the ball, a fight ensues, and let's be honest, it's not a good fight unless it attracts the attention of local wildlife. Also, the sexy tree from Evil Dead is here. All four get arrested, and the Nova Corps scan them, revealing that they all have disgusting, spooky skeletons living inside of them, except Quill, because he's human and not a weird Halloween space freak. They get sentenced to space jail. But as soon as they get there, Peter says he's hungry, so the guards spray him down with tomato basil soup and stick him under the curing lamps to lock in the flavor. After the welcome to prison orgy, it's consensual. Gamora, Peter, and Drax all have to go to the bathroom at the same time, which leads to an interesting and provocative discussion about the nature of privacy, the societal imbuing of shame of one's own natural body, and the truly desperate toilet paper situation in the kiln. Thanos gets mad at Ronan for not being a better babysitter and keeping Gamora out of prison, and Ronan, my man, why is your face so chunky? Ugh. Ronan and Nebula decide to go find Gamora and retrieve the ball. Back at the kiln, our heroes who are in prison for committing horrible crimes are talking about how they're going to escape to commit more horrible crimes. These are the people you like. When Groot decides to show off his favorite butt plug to the general population. Naturally, the contraband alarm gets sounded and the prison goes into lockdown, forcing our heroes to act fast. The flying panini presses come in and try to take Groot's toy, but there's no way he's letting them get a hold of Plugnacious B, so they all head to the Watchtower and kick out the guard for being a Kmart Joel Kinnaman. What are y'all, some kind of the Suicide Squad? Rocket then uses his super engineer powers to turn space back on. The crew escapes on Peter's ship and heads out to sell the orb. Rocket finds Peter's old Erector set and plays with it on the way to Nowhere, where we'll come to know the Collector, who we know is bad because he's mean to cute girls. Shame on you. The gang make it to Nowhere, which Gamora explains is what happens when libertarians come to rule. It's quite clear on entry that she's right, as there's obviously no building code or city planning going on here, and there are starving child slaves running around all over the place. Thanks, I guess I'll eat this. They've got a couple hours to go until they're meeting with the Collector, so they pop into the local game store and play some board games to kill some time. Drax, Groot, and Rocket play a weird version of Mousetrap and get all fucked up on Blue Raspberry Ramune. Then they switch to Monopoly and the game ends the way all games of Monopoly do. Fistic encounters and aggravated assault. I didn't know there were Cajuns in space. At the same time, Peter tries and fails to seduce Gamora with his pelvic sorcery, which is my favorite D&D class because they're basically a DPS bard. The Collector finally calls for the meeting, while Drax tells this guy to turn off the goddamn TV, he's trying to sleep. The Collector uses his specialized Matryoshka doll disassembler, seems like an over-specialized piece of equipment there, Tavon, revealing the Power Stone hidden within. Rocket says something racist.
We're all very fascinated, Whitey.
And while everyone in the room is shocked and appalled, Devon's slave, Karina, seizes a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and grabs the Power Stone, attempting to use its infinite energy to bring back the 1990s children's educational mystery serial Ghost Rider. The clones of Ghost Rider, however, are twisted, soulless facsimiles of the original and destroy the collector's home, killing Karina in the process. And the second attempted reboot of the children's cult classic is cancelled. There's a reason this one was left in the 90s, guys. Drax has taken up a part-time job as an aircraft marshaller, but he accidentally directs Ronan and Blue Manchu into the Nowhere Airport. They escape into space, and Gamora and Peter are so turned on, they have sex right there. But after, they sit still too long, and the juices get all crusty. Blech. Also, Peter is a crier, and there's nothing wrong with that, ladies. He's sensitive. Blue Manchu was watching them the whole time and takes them prisoner. Quill is very polite and doesn't even ask why Blue's hands are all sticky. While Pete and Gam were snogging, Ronan was snagging. The orb thinks it'll look fantastic next to his life-size replica of Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple, and thinks the Power Stone will be just the accoutrement to make Paul Allen retreat in shame at the next Croquet Invitational. He makes his way to Xandar to hit the green. So for those that don't understand how Croquet works, here's a short primer. It's dumb as hell, don't ever play it. The Guardians know that if Ronan hits Wicked in the balls with his mallet, he'll destroy all of Xandar. So they enlist the help of Blue Manchu and the Ravagers, as well as the Nova Corps to prevent Ronan from ever making the surface. They decide on a two-pronged plan of attack. The Nova Corps will link up and use the power of love, while Peter and the gang wake up and choose violence. Nebula realizes the Guardians have boarded the Bendy Straw and goes to stop them, but just that minute her bonitis kicks in. It's a bit of a deus ex machina, and if you ask me, the plot suffers for it. At the same time, Operation Put a Really Big Condom on That Ship is nearly complete when Denarian, Saul, and Ronan want to try docking, but even though Ronan's is much bigger, he insists on going on the inside, and Denarian Saul dies. The crew make it to Ronan, and when he shows them that the very thing they had made this whole fuss over, the limited edition Pier 1 Imports decorative ball $23.99, has been destroyed, they all lose hope. Especially Rocket, who decides to kamikaze into the Bendy Straw. The ship is crashing and all seems lost, but Groot shows the Guardians that the real decorative balls were inside him all along. Then he dies. After the crash, Drax breaks Ronan's mallet and Peter snags the Power Stone. But the Guardians have learned from Karina's mistake and use the Power Stone to bring back the Pirates of Dark Water, and it totally rules and everyone is happy forever. Pirates of Dark Water rules.